The sequel to the popular theme park simulation game Planet Coaster, aptly named Planet Coaster 2, released 1 year ago today on the 6th of November 2024. And as much as it did have a slightly rocky start, I thought it'd be fun today to look back on some of my oldest projects and work, some of the coasters I built whilst trying to get to grips with things, and some of the rides and slides that you may have never seen on this channel before. Oh, and I'm also going to show you a ride that they're bringing back to the game to celebrate this anniversary. So if you do go on to enjoy this video, then please subscribe to the channel. As you'll tell from this video, I do tons of Planet Coaster 2 content, including a massive park that I'm currently making, and so much more. So yes, don't miss it by subscribing. But with that being said, let's begin our brief look back at the past year in Planet Coaster 2. As I said already, the game was released on the 6th of November 2024, which was lovely because it was way earlier than the first game was released, and also was conveniently the start of the UK theme park close season, which gave us lots of time to play around with stuff. But even before that release date, I was lucky enough to play the game on various different play tests over the course of a few months, whether it be at events or even remote controlling it from my computer, all to check out the new additions in the game. And as you'll know if you've been following this channel for a while, I made many different videos on these playtests, going through the new management features, the new UI, which everyone was very against at the time, and of course, most importantly, new water slides and coaster types. The first time I got to play it was actually at a theme park, Thorpe Park, here in England, where Planet Coaster 2 had set up an event where we would ride Hyperia blindfolded and then have to try and recreate the layout in the game, which I've never done before, but that was a really lovely day. Of course, like I said, the playtest throughout, getting to try all like the new theming pieces and the fact that you can now build indoor dark spaces, playing around with as much as I could, and there was genuinely so much more than that. And it's crazy to think that that was over a year ago now, because as we creep further towards the start of November, that's when I got my hands on the full game on my computer. Once again, a huge shout out to Frontier for allowing me to play the game early. I literally received an email giving me the code and just said, have fun. Instantly, I went and put it in Steam and spent way too many hours on it. But I felt the exact same way as I did when I first got the first game. I was just so excited to build whatever I wanted to, which the idea I had at the top of my list, I decided to build first.
If you go down to the woods today, you'd better not go alone.
Yes, 13 at Alton Towers, the literal real-life ride that the multi-dimension coaster in the game was based on. It was too perfect. I couldn't not build 13. So there I started that mini-series. I released the first episode, building the layout, and then of course worked on it from there. And the layout itself was probably the hardest part to do because the layout is all in the woods and you can't really get any reference images. You literally can't see the ride from anywhere else other than on it. But I worked around it and eventually managed to create the entire layout, all of the theming, the station building, even if the station was too bloody big. Please, Frontier, downscale the stations. And thus, my first creation was released on the workshop, which is crazy that it is still on the front page with over 50,000 downloads. So a huge shout out to anyone that did download that, because it was an absolute blast to make. And with that first creation complete, or recreation, should I say, it was time to move on to another big project, although before that was some stupid stuff, such as whatever the hell this is, and whatever the hell this is. But I now wanted to try my hand at finally building a custom theme park that I had never done in Planet Coaster 1 or obviously Planet Coaster 2 because it's just come out. And I wanted to give it a go. So I started creating Isle of Discovery. This huge theme park with a very modern looking entrance, and the first coaster I built in that park was Talos, this huge Vekoma multi-launch coaster, because, you know, that was new to the game as well. I added various new flat rides that were in the game into that area as well, and then worked my way from that point all the way through Storstheim, which was the Viking area, of course the huge steampunk area, Industria, and that park just kept expanding over time, and in the end it was about 8 months before I finished it, which is absolutely ridiculous. But it was so fun having this entire theme park that I could build and I could do whatever I want in, get you guys involved with some of the theming ideas and the name ideas, all whilst alongside being able to build those recreations that are based on real life. Because during my time building Isle of Discovery, I also built Ride to Happiness from Plopsaland Japan, or Plopsaland Belgium now, in the game when the Max Spinning Coaster came out as a DLC, which was a beautiful day. And I even ended up making a pre-creation in Minecraft The Ride at Chessington, which we only knew the layout for, so I'm happy with what I made there. Of course, all whilst that's going on, Isle of Discovery is still building, with many more areas and eventually an entire water park. Ragnarok, the Viking-themed water park, was my first ever attempt at a fully fledged water park, which I really wanted to be inspired by Rulantica at Europa Park, with a huge indoor section and a little bit of an outdoor section, and also add a water coaster in there for good measure. I just wanted to really go all out with my first water park build, and I just absolutely loved how it turned out. Although there were so many pieces in that alone that I had to remove it from Isle of Discovery when I released that because it was just so big. But as I got more and more towards the end of that huge series, another one began to start, because something very exciting got announced in the UK theme park industry, Universal Studios Great Britain. And with the one piece of concept art that they released, I thought it'd be fun to try my hand at recreating it from that one image. So I released a couple of episodes to do with that, and it's going so well so far, with the entire Main Street area and the sort of Hollywood looking vibe. And now of course the Minions land that has been going in, I'm still yet to do anything else really. So bear with me on that one, because at the same time as doing that, I built Valgard, which is the brand new Paultons Park 2026 roller coaster and area. That was a really fun little project. I started building more roller coasters, really small, and Summer's water slides. And then upon opening the doors of Isle of Discovery after finishing the entire park, I had a lot of comments asking when the next theme park was going to be coming out. So I started my brand new park, Discovery Studios, which is going to have 5 different themed lands, all based on real life IPs. And it's genuinely been so cool seeing my sort of progress from when we started those sort of first creations, from even when I started Isle of Discovery to now the start of Discovery Studios and that entire entrance, and of course the entire areas that I've built. I've made a lot of progress in my building style. It's still not fully there yet, but I'm very happy with how far I've come, because the next episode that comes out with the new Dark Ride, I don't even know how I've made it, but it worked, so I'll take it. And that brings us nicely to today, 1 year on from the release of Planet Coaster 2. In this video, I've only really labelled what I've been up to in the past year, and not necessarily the game changes and everything, but I wanted to take a moment to just say this game has come so far since it released. I really enjoyed the game when it first came out, but there was still a lot of glitches and bugs, and a lot of people seem to have a lot of problems compared to what I seem to have. And there was a lot of complaints saying that it didn't feel complete, which it really didn't. It felt like it should have been released a few months later. But Frontier have really pulled it out of the bag and just made this game something that I don't think anyone expected when it first came out. With all the free updates and even the DLCs, like, they have been on a roll, and I can't wait to see what they do next. Because usually a game may celebrate the 1 year anniversary and just sort of post on social media being like, oh, happy 1 year, share your thoughts, and that's it. Frontier are releasing a free update that's probably already out when you're seeing this, including the return of the classic shooter ride from the first game. And you know, stuff like that, little small touches in free updates, even if it is from the previous game, it's great to see. And I can't lie to you, from what I've seen, the future of this game is very bright. So like I said, subscribe so you don't miss any of that, and also subscribe so you don't miss any of my future projects, because there's going to be so many more of that as well. Thank you for watching, and here's to another year of Planet Coaster 2.